of basic necessity these days. But can American teens actually afford to go? My purpose today is to highlight how college tuition is rising while student loan availability is at a standstill. College has always been a big dream of mine and many others, but I cannot go to the college of my choice because the loans may not be available to me. So I'm going to talk about the rising cost of tuition, student loan caps and what that means for incoming college students, and what America can do to help its future generations. So educational funding is being cut while tuition just keeps getting bigger. The weak economy is a force that makes colleges raise their tuition because the government has decreased higher education funding, and soaring operational costs, government funding cuts, growing demand for vocationally relevant training, increase in competition, and increase in technology innovations are all driving pressures to raise the tuition. One technology innovation are massive open online courses, which allows students to take courses online for little to no cost, and when colleges lose money, they want to raise their tuition.
I need patient Judd to report to room 202, please. Patient Judd, report to 202 now. Thank you.
So states provided about $6,290 per student on average at a public institution in 2011. You can compare that to $8,025 after adjusted for inflation in 1986. So 25 years later, and states actually decreased their funds available to students. And states such as Louisiana, for example, slashed their funding by 43% in 2009. That's $92 million that's no longer available to their students. I actually considered LSU, but because private schools get more endowments from the government, it was actually cheaper for me to attend a private school in Indiana than to go out of state to a state school. Public universities raised their tuition by about 8.3% in 2011 alone. And on the first chart, you can see the adjusted tuition inflation on the green line, and that's how tuition should be going. But the red line is actually how tuition is today. You can see the giant spikes in it and how expensive it is. And then this one you can compare the cost of a private college to a public college, and then the inflation rate. So because past generations have contributed to a tremendous increase in college debt, the government has put a cap on present and future loans that are available to students. So what do loan caps mean for incoming and future college students? According to Robert Kiner, since 2001, college debt has risen 88% to $307 billion, which is more than the national credit card debt. Actually, on this chart, you can see that in 2013, college debt rose to just under $1 trillion, which tops not only the credit card debt, but auto loan debt, home equity revolving debt, and other debts in America. And on this chart, you can see that Indiana is one of the most expensive schools because we are in a lot of debt for college loans. So as an independent student, the loan cap is $9,500 for federal, and that's just for your freshman year. And your loans may not exceed $57,500 for 4-year programs, and that's according to the Federal Direct Stafford Loan website. And here you can just see some different charts on the Stafford loan and then the Perkins loan, and in total, you can only borrow $9,500 for your freshman year. When you compare that to the actual cost of tuition, you're paying a lot of money out of pocket, because the approximate cost of college in Indiana for Indiana State University, for example, is $20,733. If you're coming out of state to ISU, it's about $27,328. In my case, LSU would have cost me about $38,282. And a private college in Indiana is about $46,970. This is all annually. And when the loans only cover about $9,500 of that, you're paying a lot of money out of pocket, which most people can't do, so they end up dropping out of college and just being in debt. So colleges slash their funding for their students, but they keep tremendous salaries for their employees. Professor Serena Thornton of Hampton-Sydney College says we're still seeing presidential salaries skyrocketing. The Huffington Post reports that presidents of public universities saw about 11.3% raise in the past 7 years, while presidents at private colleges 17.3% raise in the same amount of time. Higher education is always going to be expensive in America, but there are things that we can do to help teens go to college and be able to afford to go to college in the future. One thing that we can do is lower or freeze the employee salaries so that colleges can give more funding to their students. Government spending has also contributed to a lot of America's problems. One thing that the government can do is stop cutting funds to higher education and instead cut salaries for politicians who are not required to have a college degree. And here you can see the tremendous salaries of some of the politicians in America, and they don't even have to go to college and be in debt for college. The government can also allow the cap on student loans to be raised and make grants available for students. In conclusion, our country's higher education situation is in a crisis, but there are things that we can do to help. Today I have talked about America's rising tuition, the federal student loan cap, and some things that America can do to help. Most of us in this room are going to college. These standings will affect how you will spend the next 2 to 6 years paying off your college tuition, and then 10 years after that when you're paying off your debt to college. And then even if you have kids, college is going to be even more expensive for them, and you're going to have to come up with ways to help them pay for college too. So I hope these outstanding numbers have made a lasting impression on you and how you choose a college for yourself and your future generations. We can take action as Americans by demanding that leaders of institutions across the United States lower their tuition and provide assistance to their future students. Because we want our country to be known for its scholars and outstanding citizens, not its outstanding debt.